Up and down the ballot, Republican candidates are framing this election as all about the economy and immigration, but they are ignoring one of the most important issues to voters, abortion rights, at their own peril. Check this out. New York congressional candidate Allison Esposito, Republican, found out the hard way in a conversation with one of her own supporters in District 18, as captured this week by our great colleague, NBC News reporter Ali Vitale.
As far as abortion, my opponent wants to make this entire election about abortion. And it's not even a factor in this race. All right, so now my question to voters as I'm walking around, I appreciate your support very much. If I had a magic wand and I could fix something day one, what do you think is the biggest issue right now facing, the American public? What would you like to see fixed first?
I would like to see a timeline on abortion.
A timeline on abortion.
In other words, abortion, we are, how can I put it? We don't think that people should be told, no, you can't, but you can't wait until...
We just had this conversation.
Right.
We just had this conversation.
You can't wait until the very end, right, and say 4 months. Okay. 4 months cutoff. If you don't know by then, or you haven't decided by then,
okay.
Adoption.
See, but that's funny. Like, we were saying abortion doesn't come up. He cares.
So funny.
Might not be what we thought he was going to say.
No, but that's not usually the top issue. But you know what? It is still an issue on people's minds.
Clearly it is. Jess McIntosh, a Democratic strategist who served as a senior advisor to the 2016 Hillary campaign. Michelle Goldberg, opinion columnist for the New York Times. They both join me now. Great to have you both here in studio.
Thanks.
I love that. Ali Vitale is just a great reporter and a great presence on TV and a great campaign reporter. Again, there is this battle over issue salience that is a kind of proxy battle for the campaign. And I do think partly in the coverage, abortions ebbed a little bit. And I think that happened in 2022, where everyone in the run-up was like, this is an inflation election. And people really did sleep on it.
Well, right. And I think there was a poll recently that showed that abortion had edged out immigration in at least one poll in terms of the economy was their most important issue and abortion was second. Look, I think that I don't want to pin our hopes on having the same sort of polling error that you had. Or it wasn't even really a polling error. It was an error of assumptions and conventional wisdom in 2022 when everyone expected a red wave and the intensity of Democratic voters and particularly Democratic women voting their outrage over Dobbs took a lot of people by surprise. That could happen again. We certainly don't want to count on it. At the same time, I just think there's something about the structure of our discourse that things that women really care about do not get the same amount of attention, right? It's like,
totally agree. Yes.
Why are these young men so alienated? And that's an important issue. But just the kind of white hot rage of so many women, it just doesn't get the proportional attention that it deserves.
I mean, you've been covering reproductive freedom for as long as I have been working for candidates who are in favor of it. We are at this point very, very used to conventional wisdom underplaying the salience of this issue.
Correct.
We have literally never had a cycle where that didn't happen. I don't know how many times voters are going to have to stand up and say, no, we really care about our own bodily autonomy, which is, a crazy thing to have to say, before people understand that it is actually quite a motivating issue for people. And the idea that we have to choose between abortion or the economy as the issue motivating us really shows how the people who are making these polls have never actually considered the issue for themselves. The decision when and whether to have a child is the most important economic decision most Americans are ever going to make. Yeah. And if you are somebody who has thought about it, you have thought about the financial implications for what that child would mean to you and your family. Yeah. There is no daylight between reproductive freedom and a good economy. None.
Yeah, and again, all this stuff ends up, even the question of what an issue is murky.
Sure.
In a philosophical sense, right? Obviously immigration has enormous economic effects as well. The one thing that I think the Harris campaign has done is they have stayed focused on this. It's not, Joe Biden's relationship to abortion rights was always very complicated, as he himself would be the first to tell you and often did. That has not been the case with Harris, where it's been much more clear cut. Here's an ad, a new ad on abortion. They've been putting points behind it and putting money behind it. Take a listen.
her blanket.
First of all, I'm the one that got rid of Roe v. Wade.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free.
First of all, just completely blown away by that woman and her partner and all the women that have done this, because it's like no one should have to do this.
All
obviously.
of the women that have done this, just think about how many women have had to come and flay themselves publicly.
They literally physically
lay bare the absolute worst things that have happened to them. Tell the most intimate stories as publicly as possible. Like, we couldn't possibly get any louder about how important this is.
I have to say that I thought that when Amber Thurman died in Georgia, that when there was a death, it was going to change the conversation, the way it had changed the conversation in Ireland, for example, and kind of spurred the ballot referendum to undo their abortion ban. But there's just something about the brokenness of our news system and our politics.
And our attentional
Right, and our attentional, and so that even something so shocking and so outrageous, it just, and then Donald Trump kind of laughing at her, saying that his event was going to get better ratings than her family's press conference. Even that, it doesn't stick. And so you really need the Harris campaign and its surrogates to be pounding away at this day after day.
We mentioned all these abortion measures that are on the ballot in 10 states. If you want to just put that map up for a second. There's this long contested question about 2004, where Karl Rove engineered to have all these sort of anti-gay marriage and marriage equality ballot initiatives in swing states. There's an open empirical question in the final analysis whether they helped or not. I think there's some evidence they did. Do you suspect this has some effect, these ballot initiatives?
Yeah, I do. I do suspect that this has some major effect. Every time reproductive freedom has been on the ballot, it has won in red states, in blue states. This is an issue that affects women of every political stripe.
Yes.
And it is really peeling off suburban Republican women, suburban independent women. You wouldn't see the sort of the Post-it campaign that we're all talking about, where women are telling each other in the ladies' room, your vote is private. You don't have to tell. Like, there is something happening here around this issue that has galvanized women in a way that I have never seen before.
And we have seen it in results. I mean, again, there's polling and there's results, and we have seen it in results clear as day since Dobbs came down. Jess Matthews.